So I want to talk today about how if you have a hybrid strategy for your events, it could actually make your in-person events even better. So what I'm meaning by a hybrid strategy is something that covers, say, a year, during which some of your events are going to be virtual and some of them are going to be in person. Some of the in-person stuff is also going to be available to an online audience, and of course that makes that content hybrid. And maybe you would also choose to do certain events like really big product launches or something like that in person, but then maybe you could also do something to your virtual audience and to a live audience separately, or have regional hubs. There's lots of different ways to have a hybrid strategy, and I know that idea was very popular with some event organisers that I spoke to at IBTM, who have clients and actually team members in different parts of the world, and they want to get them involved in all these kind of things, but they don't want to have to pay to fly them from one end of the planet to the other. Because of course, if you're signing up to ESG, we know that the rules are going to get tighter. People are going to have to really report on and justify on where they visited and which trips they've taken, which events they've been to. So therefore, they're going to have to really justify which ones they go to in person. And that means, in theory, they're only going to go to the really brilliant in-person ones, things that will give them something they just could not get virtually. Now, we keep talking about that, don't we? We say people are going to events to connect. And then I think that means that people go, if they're going to come to my event because they're going to connect, and then they're still sort of giving them the same old that they were always going to get at an event. And I think actually that's a waste of time. You could really make the human connection bit so much more useful if you don't waste your time putting in-person attendees in the traditional lecture sort of theatres to listen to somebody talking at them while they sit passively. I think it's time now to turn the keynotes into really collaborative workshops which make the most of having people there in person. I know for myself at a lot of events I do not have time to go to the educational sessions because I really want to be there for the networking, for the human collaboration, but I really want to hear the education too. So I'm grateful when I can catch up with it when I get home, if I can, because it does seem extraordinarily impractical and a waste of time and energy when often the content that's at these in-person events is not recorded. Therefore, it's only watched by really a handful of people who made it on the day to that session, who weren't doing something else. And of course, a virtual audience has missed out on it as well. And if you kind of follow that thought, stay with me, then there's a question about why not make all the passive education stuff virtual, especially the kind of ones that are not going to allow much time for questions or use any audience interaction. Then it would follow that we're only going to go to the in-person events purely for the human connection, for the actual physical meeting of people, and then just get all the sort of straight education online. Now, it won't mean less people necessarily at the in-person event, but it's just going to be way more focused, exciting and collaborative. The agenda isn't going to be overcrammed, but it's going to have lots of one-to-one meetings, structured, facilitated networking, collaborative workshops, things that need bodies in the room. And the workshops could actually be on things that people have already learned about doing the online education. So then your online education is actually feeding into things that you're going to need at the event, at the in-person event. Now look, this is just an idea of how you could use hybrid and make your in-person events better. I just want you to not be so scared of it, because people really are scared of hybrid, because actually it can be an incredibly effective way to run your business events.